Hey, what's up, guys? I really wanted to change the thumbnail before I went live. Um, Let me see if I can do that from my phone really quick. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Thumbnail, thumbnail, thumbnail. Manage videos. Oh, okay, I put it on that thumbnail. Okay, that's fine. Audio is good. Cool. Thank you very much. Just got to remember to stay by the microphone. Um, Hope everybody has had a good weekend. This is going to be one of them streams where I know, like the cool thing to do is, have your moderators put, trigger warnings in there or whatever. But I don't see how that's going to stop anybody from giving you some kind of content strike. If YouTube wants to strike you, they're going to strike you. Period. Um, but I'll warn you guys because the content that you're going to hear today is going to be very graphic. Um, so just be aware. And I guess it is a good idea to have maybe be reminding people that because people will be coming in at different times or whatever and might not know what they're walking into. I already put it at 18 and over, so that should help me. I'm just trying to not get a bunch of strikes. Um, and I can get into that, but I won't right now about my other channel. The reason that I'm on this channel right now is because my other channel, I got a strike last week from, I believe, Bullhorn Betty. I'm not sure, but I was streaming her live stream and I got a strike. And I was streaming it in private, but whatever. I understand if that's a strike, I can deal with that. My problem is that I've had a strike on my channel since 2019 that will not go away. Strikes are only supposed to stay on your channel for 90 days. So I need to find out about that. I keep saying that I'm going to, but I just been putting it off. So I'm sure most of you guys know who David Tadashini is by now. If you don't, uh, well, you're probably not gonna like me too much for showing you who he is. But this is very important. And you know what? Let me send this link to my babe so that she can at least listen while she's at work. Okay. So this guy used to have about 30,000 subs on YouTube. YouTube finally took him down. So like like Vice News and a couple mainstream outlets outed him as being a convicted chomo, which he is. And the reason they did it just because it was a political thing. He's a big time QAnon influencer, and they wanted to make the QAnon people look bad, which whatever, do your thing. But they exposed him big time on big platforms. Um, you know, small channels like myself and other channels have been screaming about this guy for almost 6 years now. But you know, at least YouTube did something about it. But now he's got about 23 or 26,000 subs on b1tchute, and another monetized platform. And I mean, he's got videos on his b1tchute where it's like, oh man, it's stuff that this guy should not be talking about. I don't even think this guy should be on the internet at this point. But you know, different states have different statutes and different circumstances and all that shit. But I mean, this guy's, you know, I've had this guy's, one of his PayPals or one of his GoFundMe's taken down before. Now he's found another outlet, which is called Give, Send, Go. And then he's got another PayPal or GoFundMe, but he's got it under his alias name. But the main thing is he is actively trying to get people to donate money. And we're going to see the Give, Send, Goes and the GoFundMe's and all that. And he's trying to round up money so that an 11-year-old child will be sent to him. Now, he's playing it off as he's trying to get a family to him, meaning he's got a friend that I guess supposedly he's some ex-Army Ranger guy, but he for 19 years, but he lives with his mother-in-law, which David Toddashini, when he does his video asking for money for this, he tells people that the kid's a genius. He's a little genius. Okay, he's just trying to manipulate people. He said the same thing about his victim. Okay, and has stories about his victim being some genius on a GPS machine. You know, come on. And he's doing the same fucking thing with this kid. Sorry, I'm going to try not to cuss because these are sensitive issues, and I just want to respect the victims and stuff. A couple of weeks ago, he did a video on b1tchute, and we're going to watch it in just a few minutes. But before that, I want to show you guys, or have you guys listen to his plea statement. So he was charged with 5 counts of disgusting acts with children. Okay, but he pled to 2 counts. Okay, so one was sodomy and one was oh shit. Hold on, let me look. I think it's on the thumbnail for this video. Over here. Yeah. I'm getting old, getting blind here. I have to take a screenshot and blow it up. All right. Sexual abuse in the first degree on a child 8 years old, and sodomy in the second degree on a child that was 8 years old. And this. So we're going to hear what he wrote. So we're going to, when you plead down from 5 counts to 2. They want a detailed statement of what you actually did. So again, please understand that this is going to be sensitive. It's disgusting to hear, but I need you guys to hear this before I tell you guys and prove to you guys and show you guys how he is actively trying to get another child to him. Okay. Oh man, so much to say, but just be patient. If you guys have any questions, let me know and I'll stop. And there is a few parts where I'm going to stop and talk about things or whatever, things that are being shown. But as for now, you're going to hear this other, I think he's a YouTuber or he's on b1tchute or something. I'll have a link for him in the description. But he's going to read this out. So the video, I just uploaded it. It's 32 minutes long. It's still on private, but we're going to watch it. Let me know if there's an echo or anything like that, if I need to mute up. I'm gonna pause it really quick and let it upload just a little bit. Let's check out the chat. The other day, oh, come on. Don't play with me, computer. Don't play games. Okay. That's weird. Not sure what this means here. So, if need be, I'll just do this from my phone. But I just have a feeling it's going to be a lot more difficult from my phone. Oh, that's funny, Betty. Hope you're doing good. All right. Hopefully, we're back. Are we back? Are we back, Jack? All right. Let's go back to my videos. I don't see the chat popping up, but those are recently uploaded. Oh shit, I got my b1tchute on there? That's pretty decent. I should probably do that on my main channel. Okay, excuse me. Oh, I need to go to studio. Customize, manage videos. That's what I needed to do. Damn it, John. Okay, I don't need that no more. Manage videos. Play with me, son. Wow. There we go. All right. Okie dokie. Go to creator demographics. The fuck? Well, maybe it's because I put on private. Let's put on unlisted, I guess. I mean, I don't mind. I can put it public right now. It's just I want you guys to watch it with me. So we'll just do unlisted right now. I think that's going to tag everybody that I tagged in the description too. So that's pretty good. Because actually, Benny Keys was actually talking about all this the other day, which was pretty surprising and a breath of fresh air. So, you know, good on him for that. Oh man, they're black screaming me. It's all a conspiracy.
But there's not really much paperwork on that, which is in and of itself strange. Perhaps that was the arresting county, we're not sure. This, of course, as you can see, is from Greene County. The other county is Hamilton County. This has Dave Todeschini's 5 counts. This is what he was charged with. Count 1, the grand jury charges the defendant of committing the crime of sodomy in the first degree in violation of section 130.
Okay, do we have an echo or are we good?
The penal law of the state of New York, a class B felony, in that the defendant on or about September 1994 at an abandoned farmhouse in Heart's Content Road, town of Cairo, county of Greene, state of New York, did engage in deviant sexual intercourse.
We're going to start it over.
County in which he was prosecuted.
All right. Cool. Everything is good. Everything is working. No echo. Again, you know, hey Siren, how you doing? This guy is the reason that I'm doing this again is because this guy is actively trying to get a child to him, and he's asking for money online. Ain't nobody fucking donating, but a few couple people dumbasses. Um, this guy, his story about, I'll let it play. I'll let it play. First, we're going to listen to this guy's plea agreement because he was charged with 5 counts, which we're going to hear him. We're going to hear the guy speak the 5 counts, and then he's going to read off the 2 counts that he pled to, and then he's going to we're going to read his written statement about those, what he did, his everything. I'm talking, it's very descriptive, guys, so please understand that. So here we go.
So this first document is the timeline of Dave Todeschini's arrest. As you can see, there's a temporary order of protection, arraignment, prosecution, etc., etc. This second document comes from the first county in which he was prosecuted. Dave was prosecuted in 2 counties, and I believe there was some sort of prosecution arrest in Essex County. But there's not really much paperwork on that, which is in and of itself strange. Perhaps that was the arresting county, we're not sure. This, of course, as you can see, is from Greene County. The other county is Hamilton County. This has Dave Todeschini's 5 counts. This is what he was charged with. Count 1, the grand jury charges the defendant of committing the crime of sodomy in the first degree in violation of section 130.50 of the penal law of the state of New York, a class B felony, in that the defendant on or about September 1994 at an abandoned farmhouse in Heart's Content Road, town of Cairo, county of Greene, state of New York, did engage in deviant sexual intercourse with another person who was less than 11 years old, to wit, at aforementioned time and place, defendant did engage in deviant sexual intercourse with John Doe, who is less than 11 years of age. The count 2, the grand jury charges the defendant committing the crime of sexual abuse in the first degree in violation of section 130.65 of the penal code law of the state of New York, a class D felony, in that the defendant on or about September 1994 at an abandoned farmhouse in Heart's Content Road, town of Cairo, county Greene, state of New York, did subject another person to sexual contact by forcible compulsion, to wit, at the aforementioned date, time, and place, defendant did not subject John Doe, who is at the aforementioned date and time and place, defendant did subject John Doe, who is less than 11 years of age, to sexual contact. Count 3, the grand jury charges the defendant in committing a crime of endangering the welfare of a youth in violation of section 260.10 of the penal code law of the state of New York, a class 1 misdemeanor, in that the defendant on or about September 1994 at an abandoned farmhouse in Heart's Content Road, town of Cairo, county and Greene, state, New York, in that the defendant knowingly acted in a manner likely to be injurious and physically, mentally, moral welfare of the child less than 11 years old, to wit, aforementioned date, time, and place, defendant did subject John Doe, who was less than 17 years of age, to sexual contact. Said act likely to be inglorious to mental and physical moral welfare of said person. The grand jury charges the defendant of committing crime.
Notice he said that his acts were inglorious. Well, this disgusting piece of shit has a channel on YouTube called Inglorious Patriots. Is that a slap in the face to the victims or what?
Count 4, the sexual abuse in the first degree in violation of section 130.65 of the penal code of New York, class D felony, in that the defendant on or about September 94 at Colgate Lake, town of Ch1ld, county of Greene, state of New York, did subject another person to sexual contact by forcible compulsion, to wit, at the foresaid date, time, and place, defendant and subject who was less than 11 years of age, to sexual contact. Count 5, the grand jury charges the defendant of committing a crime of endangering welfare of a child in violation of 260 of the penal code of law, class A misdemeanor, in that defendant on or about September 94 in the Colgate town of Ch1ld, County, Greene State, New York. And defendant knowingly acted in a manner likely to be injurious to the physical or mental moral welfare of a child less than 3 years old, to wit, aforementioned date and time. A placement did subject John Doe who was less than 70 years of age, to sexual conduct said likely to be injurious in mental, physical, and moral health. So as you can see, we had 5 charges against Dave Totoshini on 2 different separate occasions. So this is the waiver of indictment for Dave Totoshini. He pled down and took these 2 charges. The other side, the defendant is above entitled action, having been held to action by the grand jury, the justice court of the town Arietta, County of Hamilton, and the state of New York, in which the court said the defendant accused of the following crimes: second-degree sodomy, endangering of welfare. Neither of these charges is a Class A felony. The undersigned defendant hereby waives indictment and consents to be prosecuted by the Superior Court. Information which will charge the said defendant with the crimes of sodomy in the second degree in violation of Section 130.45. So these are the charges he ended up pleading down to get a shorter sentence. Now the next document I can't read screencapture wise because it has too much personal identifying information of the victim and Dave Totoshini, so you're going to have to I guess look at a picture of Dave Totoshini or something while I read it, and it's just a warning, fair warning. This is coming up is going to be the most descriptive, disturbing bit if you want to skip this part. So I'll be reading from this document from Greene County, and dated December 2nd, 1998. And this is basically Dave Totoshini's admission of guilt. I first met Boy in the summer of 1993 at Woods Roads Campground, Catskill, New York. He was camping next door to me with his grandparents. I started teaching him how to swim and taught him in one day. That summer, I taught him to rope climb and also took him hiking. I would take him a dozen times for about an hour each time. The trail was about a mile long. This campground is a trailer that I go on in the summer, only 100 miles from my residence. Summertime is the only time I ever had contact with Boy. One time in the summer of 1994, Woods Road Campground, Boy spent the night in my trailer because there was no place for him to go. During September 94, we first met, and I began taking Boy alone on overnight road trips. Fast forward later, sometime during September 94, Boy and I went camping at Colgate Lake in the town of Joliet, New York, where I was going to set up a tent, but it started pouring, so we decided to sleep in the truck instead. My truck is a Mazda Navajo. We opened the windows so we could breathe and put the space blanket on the outside so the rain would not come in the window. We cracked one of the snap lights so we could have a little light inside, and this is the first time I ever had sexual contact with Boy. We started reading stories, and after we finished, I wanted to go to sleep. I was laying in my sleeping.
Now, sorry for interrupting, but this guy has people fucking actively, I mean, I can take what they're saying in the descriptions as threats, but, I'm not a fucking, I'm not a liberal fucking bucktard like they are. They hide themselves behind conservative outfits, but the reason that I want you guys to hear this is because he's using the same verbatim now. He's saying that he wants to get this kid on over so that he can enjoy the outdoors. That's why he wants people to give him money so he can get that kid over on an Amtrak right now. This is what he's actively doing right now. And the thing is he's got these fucking trolls. Like I said, for you to be able to build 23,000 fucking subs on b1tchute, bro, I can ask anybody at my work if they know anything about b1tchute. Not one soul will know what the fuck I'm talking about. b1tchute is not a popular platform. Okay, so now I can handle the trolling and all the bullshit, because all they're doing is lying. They're saying that I'm blocking them, and they're fucking all kinds of bullshit. Veiled threats that don't fucking bother me a goddamn. Okay, but I just want you guys to know that again, he's using the same tactics that he did when he was explaining what you're hearing right now. He's trying to use pretty much the same tactics to get this kid that's 11 years old over to him right now. So please keep that in mind.
Bag and just my underwear. I always leave the side of the sleeping bag unzipped so I don't sweat to death. I was just about to go off into Nanu land, and boy jumped out of his sleeping bag and landed on my stomach and knocked the wind out of me. He had just his underwear on also. After I got my wind back a few minutes later, I grabbed him and spun him around and slammed him back down on top of the sleeping bag. I told him he knocked the wind out of me. I told him I wanted to go back to sleep because I had to drive out of here in the morning. We were now both back in our sleeping bags, just talking. He was asking me questions about everything, and it led to some heavy discussions about planets and stars. After a while, he asked me to rub his back, so I rubbed his back. And then one thing led to another, and we started rolling around together. Boy and I together took his underwear off, so he was now naked. I then started touching him. I rubbed his stomach first, and then I touched his privates. When I mean privates, I mean his penis and his butt. It then led to other things like putting my mouth on his penis. I then rubbed my penis on his butt, and he said something about it hurts, but I don't know what he was talking about. I know I did not enter him from behind. I forgot to mention that boy jumped on my stomach. He grabbed the first aid kit from the truck. He took out the stethoscope and wanted to play doctor. Boy got into the sleeping bag, and I got into my brown sleep.
Another thing is, notice that I fucking go live every single day, and these pieces of shit that like to fucking leave comments on my fucking videos, or like to threaten me, or like to put up videos and b1tchute under their fucking bullshit channels that don't get no fucking views, why don't they show up today? Why don't they show up and fucking look at their fucking buddy that they're protecting right now? Why don't they listen to his fucking words? Oh, because they're going to say, oh, he didn't sign the statement for this. Really? Well, the same shit that you're hearing that this guy's reading, which is this Chomo's statement, is similar, very similar to the shit that he said out of his own mouth talking to YouTubers. So 2 and 2 together equals 4, motherfuckers. It don't equal 17, QAnon. Piece of shit.
Sleeping bag, and he shivered, so I covered him with part of the sleeping bag. We both went to sleep. We camped there one night, and the next day we both went home. So interesting to note that you notice that he's here making out as if he was some sort of helpless participant in this, that the boy was coming on to him, so to speak. Very disturbing. During the summer of '95, Chris and I went on 6-day hikes and trips to Burroughs Caves in Minerva, New York. We camped overnight with my nephew, and we explored the caves, spent 2 days and 1 night there. During the summer of '96, I think August, Boy and I went to another overnight camping trip to Middle Sergeant's Pond off the North Point Road in Long Lake, New York. We parked at the trailhead and signed a register at the trailhead. I signed my name and put down a party of 2. We went back to the truck and loaded up the gear for the hike. Boy's bag was so clumsy it stuck out the side, and I knew the trail was rough, so we packed his bag, left his sleeping bag at the truck, and substituted his bag for 2 wool army blankets and 2 space blankets. We hiked in to the spot where I usually camped was blown down. So we hiked off the side of the pond and found a semi-level spot, and ended up being 15-degree grade at the edge of the water. We set the tent up, put the wool blankets, space blankets down, set my sleeping bag down on them. We went inside and both laid down on the blankets. We used one of the space blankets in my sleeping bag to cover us. We were both laying there just in our t-shirts because it was so hot. Boy then told me he wanted to be held. I said it was too damn hot. After about 10 minutes, I kicked the blankets and sleeping bag off me because I was so hot. Boy still wanted to be held. He rolled over and put his arm around me, and I put my arms around him. We held each other. I remember doing this for a long time. Boy then put his leg over me, and we started rolling around. Somehow both of us got undressed. We were both now both naked. I don't remember who started it, but we began rubbing each other. I started with the backs, and then I touched his genitalia area. He did the same to me. Then we laid on top of each other, taking turns who was on top. I rubbed his butt with my hands. I used rubbing oil on his butt. I then put my finger up his butt. After I put my finger in his butt, Boy got excited, so I kissed his genitals. We stopped and then went to sleep. The next morning we packed up and walked out. We went to Custard's Last Stand and Ho's Country Corner Stand and ate. We then went fishing at Buttermilk Falls. Later that day, I took Boy home in Chatham. This is the last time I ever had sexual contact with Boy. So that's the end of the statement. This last statement by Dave Totoshini is really incredible. It shows you that his complete inability to take responsibility for his actions and amazingly blame this criminality on a boy under 11 years old. So this is his final statement in this admission. I wish to add that Boy knew not to say anything, and he knew he would get in trouble if he said anything about what we were doing. He was a willing participant and started some of the stuff. I've read every page of the 3-page statement, and it's all true to the best of my knowledge. Signed, Dave Totoshini, 5/17/1997, 6 p.m. Let me read that again. I wish to add that Boy knew not to say anything, and he knew he would get in trouble if he said anything about what we were doing. He was a willing participant and started some of the stuff, literally blaming the victim here. So, just so we know where Dave Totoshini stood, I don't know if he still stands in that place now. I imagine he probably does. But, according to Dave Totoshini, this is the victim's fault. So here we have the original indictment from Greene County, Dave Totoshini. And I wanted to read from this a couple excerpts, one of which is a victim impact statement, which is read by the court, as we'll see here, written by the mother of the victim. And lastly, from this document, we're going to be reading Dave T's statements on the sentencing. The court says, all right, Mr. Clerk, I'd be grateful if you'd read the victim's view on the sentence towards the end. Court Clerk, it is my son's desire, as well as my own, to see Mr. Totoshini punished to the full extent allowable by law. I beseech the court to use whatever discretion it has in sentencing to make sure that Mr. Totoshini receives the punishment he so richly deserves. I also ask that any sentence imposed run consecutively with Mr. Totoshini's present sentence. Mr. Totoshini robbed my son of his innocence and happiness, and did it for no other reason than that of satisfying his own selfish desires. It should be noted that any sentence Mr. Totoshini receives from this court will be finite. On the other hand, the extent of my son's pain and suffering resulted from Mr. Totoshini's actions has no definitive duration. It is entirely conceivable that my son will be haunted by what has happened for the remainder of his life. I think the court should also consider the fact that Mr. Totoshini knew my son for a considerable period of time before he committed these crimes. Thus, Mr. Totoshini knew my son for the person he was, a happy, innocent, trusting child. In my opinion, that fact makes Mr. Totoshini's acts all the more reprehensible. He knew my son trusted him, and he knew what damage his acts would cause. In other words, my son was not a faceless, anonymous victim to Mr. Totoshini. He was someone Mr. Totoshini knew well. In spite of that, Mr. Totoshini chose to sacrifice my son's well-being for the sake of his own deviant desires. Clearly, other people only mattered to Mr. Totoshini to the extent that they can be of use to him. I cannot believe that anyone who knew my son would ever deliberately hurt him, but that is exactly what Mr. Totoshini did. I would ask the court to take into consideration the fact that Mr. Totoshini had obviously planned to molest my son from the onset. I would ask the court to take consideration the fact that Mr. Totoshini had obviously planned to molest my son from the onset. In retrospect, it is chilling how Mr. Totoshini ingratiated himself into our family, gained our trust, and then arranged to be alone with my son. It is as if he was stalking my son. This is not an impulsive act of an immature man. Rather, Mr. Totoshini's acts are indicative of a cold and calculated mind.
It's funny. I always explain to people how to change their chat to subs only, but I don't really know how to do it myself on a computer.
But that is exactly what.
Wait for that to load up for a second. Should there be something over here? Sorry about that, guys. Just try to put on subs only. That way, those fucking sex bots don't come in here.
Mr. Totoshini did. I would ask the court to take into consideration the fact that Mr. Totoshini had obviously planned.
What you're hearing him talk about right now, or talk right now, is the victim's parents' statement. These are things that this guy that's going to try to send his son, his 11-year-old son, over to this convicted pedophile's house should be listening to. And we're going to hear him talk in just a few minutes too, once I get this thing straightened up. Why does my title say The Lost Truth Archives live stream? What the fuck? Fuck is that? I need to edit more than that. Oh well, whatever. I'll just have you guys deal with it. Fucking bastards. Well, they fucking love this type of content, I'm sure. But that's why I want to turn off subs only, or turn it on subs only. Stream settings. Edit. Sorry about that, guys. What's up, Shiz? I see you in there. Okay, customization. There we go. Got it. I always win, motherfuckers. Say something. Especially when I'm drinking a fucking 40 of Mickey's. Well, I'm probably going to drink maybe 10 ounces of it. But whatever. It's got the twist on top, so I could save some for later. Okay, so there it is. Oh, don't play with me. Miss Lottie, how you doing? All right, subscribers only is on. Now we can get back into this shit. Excuse me. $15 more minutes, guys. Well, that's hoping we don't have any more hiccups. Come on. Okay, I shouldn't have done that.
And to molest my son from the onset. I would ask the court to take consideration the fact that Mr. Totoshini had obviously planned to molest my son from the onset. In retrospect, it is chilling how Mr. Totoshini ingratiated himself into our family, gained our trust, and then arranged to be alone with my son. It is as if he was stalking my son. This is not an impulsive act of an immature man. Rather, Mr. Totoshini acts are indicative of a cold and calculated mind. And that is the end of the victim impact statement. Now,
Hello, this is Dave from Net4 Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots. It is October 7th, 2022, and the time now is 18:14 hours Eastern Time here in beautiful southern North Carolina. I have a situation with a friend that I hope all of you listening can help me with. Top secret Army Ranger who's been on this channel, on my b1tchute channel, on my YouTube channel, and my other channels a number of times, and I'll leave the links for the 4 latest videos he did with Plymouth Fury down in the description. He's living in deplorable conditions in Florida, but not because of the hurricane, because of the person that he has to share living space with, his landlord. And I will describe.
Now, the landlord is his mother-in-law. And this top secret Army Ranger that, Dave is sitting here fucking saying that he wants to save, he's a married man. He lives with his fucking mother-in-law. Well, why doesn't he fucking get the fuck out? Why does he need your audience to put their money into some pot so they can come to you? But first, your first agenda is to get the kid to you, and then the parents will come afterwards, right? After you had your way with the fucking child, right, bitch?
That later on in the video. But what really gets me is his son, who is a gifted child skip.
Okay. Their son, who is a gifted child, he's about to say skip 2 grades. This is the same fucking shit that he said about the other child. I'm trying to hide that goddamn fucking bullshit give, send, go that he's got on there. Saying the same shit.
It is October 7th, 2022, and the time now is 18:14 hours Eastern Time here in beautiful southern North Carolina. I have a situation with a friend that I hope all of you listening can help me with. Top secret Army Ranger who's been on this channel, on my b1tchute channel, on my YouTube channel, and my other channels a number of times, and I'll leave the links for the 4 latest videos he did with Plymouth Fury down in the description. He's living in deplorable conditions in Florida, but not because of the hurricane, because of the person that he has to share living space with, his landlord.
Why don't you just say his mother-in-law?
And I will describe that later on in the video.
But you really don't.
What really gets me is his son, who is a gifted child, skipped 2 grades in school and was doing very well, is being subjected to a very abusive and very non-conducive to learning situation at home.
So wouldn't you want to call the, the fucking law enforcement? Wouldn't you want to do that first? Oh, no, that's not what you're going to do.
Which cannot be tolerated any longer. So I've talked to his parents a number of times. We know each other for years. And we have kind of sort of decided to get this guy some help.
How's that?
We're going to get his son, at least his son, out of there immediately.
There you go. He is fucking targeting a child right now. He's fucking this is a fucking convicted child molester. And he's saying, first, before the fucking parents come, send me this kid.
I'm going to take it out of my wallet, and I'm going to send them an Amtrak ticket if I can. I just called Amtrak, and they said that unaccompanied minors are not supposed to be riding the trains, but I'm going to make arrangements to have him accompanied, or in the alternative, I want to get in my Jeep and I want to drive the 600 miles down there. And
Oh, why are you going to do that, David?
this situation,
Why are you going to do that, David? 600 miles, 1,200 miles round trip, so that he can go grab a child?
cannot be tolerated any longer. And when the boy heard that he is coming up here, he broke out into tears of joy. That's what Plymouth told me. So I started a Give Send Go account, and hopefully we can get enough money to move them up here. It's not going to take much. They don't have much stuff.
Oh, well, you're asking for $10,000, fucking psycho.
And get them up here. I run a trailer park, so housing is not going to be a problem. But the situation has got to be remedied, and the remedy for that situation, in the instant moment, is to get that child out of the abusive environment that he's in.
Okay, I don't fucking think he is telling the truth about running a fucking trailer park, okay? Maybe he was picked to be fucking head fucking pedo of the pedo park. Maybe they have one over there in southern North Carolina, like they do down in Florida. Isn't that where the child's coming from? What the fuck? What is this?
And bring him up here where he can enjoy the outdoors.
Oh, you want to bring the boy out there so you can enjoy the outdoors. What the fuck happened the last time you were with the fucking boy in the outdoors, motherfucker? And look at that fucking smile. This man needs to be stopped, guys. And I'm fucking telling you, we're gonna hear this fucking, he's got fucking pieces of shit defending him.
So, hopefully, you guys come through, and I know you've come through for me and everything I've tried to do for patriots for years. In fact, if it wasn't...
Oh, so since you helped out a couple patriots, well, this is when I really need you, folks, because this is going to get me a child sent to my house. Is he doing his last fucking hurrah because he's on his last fucking leg where he just doesn't give a fuck? He's got these people brain the fuck washed, man. You're going to hear the fucking boy's dad speak in just a few minutes.
People who listen to this channel, I wouldn't be here right now. So, be that as it may, the immediate thing that has to be done is we have to get this gifted child out of a very abusive environment. Now I'm talking about emotionally abusive, yelling and screaming and things like that.
He's got a couple, Lottie.
Physical abuse or none of that. But as we all know,
okay, so see right there, he's clearing himself right there because he's saying, oh, there's no physical abuse. It's just, he just has to hear the parents arguing, or the fucking dad. Ultimately, it's the dad that doesn't get along with the mother-in-law. Okay, so the fucking husband doesn't get along with the wife's mother, which is her fucking house. Okay, and these people are making up fucking stories, all kinds of bullshit, and they're talking about there's cockroaches everywhere. Okay, well, fucking clean the fucking place up. If you got an 11-year-old there, clean the fucking place up, document what you're doing, and then fucking sue somebody or do something like that. Instead, you're just gonna sit there with fucking 5-year-old fucking dog feces on the ground. Isn't that what you say? We're gonna hear that in just a minute.
watch my videos for any length of time, you know that these situations can quickly escalate and become something that nobody ever foresaw. So please, if you can, throw a couple of bucks in the till and help that family get up out of that abusive situation and out of the mess that they're in. Not going to take much, but every bit helps. Everybody would say, well, I've only got $5. Well, $5 and $5 and $5 and $5 adds up to what it takes to rent a U-Haul. You don't have much stuff. So it's only going to take one U-Haul trip from Florida up to here to get out of there permanently. And get this kid into school. Oh, here's a phone call. Well, I just got off the phone with Amtrak, and they said that a 12-year-old can ride Amtrak, but anyone younger than that has to be accompanied by an adult, or they said hire somebody from social services to accompany him.
I can't tell,
I said,
Cat.
right. I would trust social services as far as I could spit up wind in a Saigon monsoon. So there is that possibility. There's also the possibility of flying, because flying would take maybe an hour, hour and a half from there to here.
Oh, I bet you'd like that instead, right?
Or in the latest alternative, I could take a nice scenic drive down to Florida.
Sick fuck.
And I'd have to have somebody look after my dogs while I go do that, because it's
Yes,
1,200
Cat.
miles round.
You got it. You got it, Cat. It's probably some fucking inbred ass fucking family that is living in poor fucking conditions, spend all their fucking money on drugs, and would rather fucking, rent or sell their child out for more, for more drugs and, less responsibilities.
But we're going to work this out. In the meantime, whatever we do is obviously going to cost some dineros. And I could pay for his Amtrak ticket. I could pay for his plane ticket. But to rent a U-Haul from Florida to here, I think it's going to take more money than what I have available. So I would really, really appreciate it if all of you listening just throw a couple of bucks in the till. And let's see if we can make a dent in this to get these people up here, to get this family up here and out of that abusive situation that they're in. This is Dave from the For Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots. If it wasn't for us patriots, these dummies would get the government that they deserve.
Damn guy's named fucking Freddy.
Never heard of him.
Name, fucking Freddy. He did a live stream with these trolls.
Okay, so now the guy that you hear speaking right now, the guy that just called people trolls, that's Plymouth Fury. That's the guy that looks like a fucking bummed fucking Rasta homeless man. And then he's talking to supposedly top secret Army Ranger and the father of this child. Okay. Now listen to the beginning of this part right here, because I have a feeling like these guys are. I think that this guy Plymouth Fury, which is the guy that's talking to this guy, and David Tadashini, which is the fucking chomo, they are fucking seriously like this. I don't know if this guy knows David's whole story yet. Listen, just listen.
That have been hassling him about this whole thing. He did it to come clean, and they were like pit bulls after a steak, man. They didn't really
Bullshit.
Get a chance to.
He's talking about an interview, and I can play. It's not in this video, but I can play that for you guys too. It's in my playlist probably, where this fucking chomo went on a live stream with FK and Freddy, OG Juan, Tretch, and a few other people, and fucking they did not attack him at all. He fucking went up there and lied to them and fucking made up some bullshit, and they didn't buy it. That was it.
To really defend himself in any or tell the story, like, because I mean, there's
Well, tell him that when you talk to him, say, Dave, tell your story.
exactly.
I'm not a troll. I'm here to help you, defend you. You can tell them Joe and Stoney and everybody, they're worried about you. Get it out. Tell everybody's behind you.
See what I mean? It's like, I think they were buddies for a long time, and then they lost contact with this guy, with this Ranger guy, and then now they're saying, you know, oh, fucking Dave, you know, this guy Dave, you know, fucking, he's, all these trolls are hitting him on this, on, you know, on whatever, because somehow this guy caught wind of it or whatever. But it just seems like this guy is saying, give David the chance to explain what happened if he's innocent. But there's no way he can explain shit, and we all know that because he's been given the platform plenty of times, and we have the fucking statement that we just heard from him, his own fucking words on government paper.
You.
Because I mean, the only thing I got out of watching that live stream was that the whole thing has something to do with the amount of Ritalin that they're prescribing to these kids in the schools. Like Dave was speaking out about that or something like that. And
oh, really?
You know, I'm from Canada, and our schools are full of that crap. I mean,
oh, really? They're full of that crap. Well, let's just see this. Like a quick little read for you guys. Can the school require fucking children to take Ritalin? Okay. Here, let me go back to the question again. That went by too fast. Hold on. The way I recorded this, I think I made it to where I'm gonna have to be pausing it or whatever. So
something like that. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm from Canada, and our schools are full of that crap. I mean,
okay, can the school require my child to take ADHD medication? Okay. My child has ADHD and is having problems at public school. We haven't tried ADHD medication, but I'm worried the school will say we have to in order to attend. Are schools allowed to do that? Scroll. Public schools aren't allowed to require any student to take ADHD medication. The Special Education Law, IDEA, specifically covers medications that are controlled substances, and ADHD medication falls into that group. The law is very clear. Public schools, along with districts and states, may not require any student, whether or not they get special education services, to take this class of medications. That means schools can't make students take medication in order to attend. They also can't make it a requirement for getting an evaluation and special education services. Schools are allowed to share concerns with parents about a child's behavior or performance in school. However, teachers might describe what they've seen or how a child's behavior is getting in the way of learning. They can even suggest or request that a child be evaluated for special education. There is nothing in the law that prohibits teachers from suggesting medication either, okay? So they can suggest you fucking, you know, slam your head against a fucking door, you know. Suggestions are just a suggestion, not a requirement. But it is very bad practice, and they should avoid doing it. So even suggesting it is bad practice, and they should avoid doing it. If your child's teacher or an IEP team member pressures you or says medication is required, there are steps you can take. You can speak to a school administrator about the situation. You can also go directly to the district special education director Explain what you were told and document it in writing. The special education director should be very familiar with this requirement in the law and put a stop to it. You can also speak with the superintendent. But if these steps don't work, you can consider filing a complaint with your state's Department of Education. Didn't sound like they've done any of that, does it?
Eight out of 10 kids or something. It's ridiculous. It really is. So I can kind of see where he's coming
Well,
from.
I went to my son's school, and I said my son is not to receive any shots because I've taught the parents down.
Question, Army Ranger, is that a public or private school? Big difference.
Down here where they signed the permission slip and said, no, I didn't want my kid to get that shot. The kid came home and they got the shot anyway. So I said to my kid's principal, if you plan on giving my son any shots and I find out about it, I said, I don't care if I go to jail. I'm coming here for you because I'm telling you as a man, face to face. He is my responsibility. And what I say he gets, he gets. And when I say he don't get, he don't get. I said, I do not want my son getting anything. No pills, no nothing. Do you understand? And he went, yes. And I said, okay.
Perfect.
I said, this is your one and your only warning. If my son comes home and says, Dad, they gave me a shot, I said, I will be here in 15 minutes. And if you're not here, I will come the next day.
Right on, brother.
I watched a YouTube video where they said doctors won't even let their kids get vaccinated. Why?
Because
Why
they
won't
know
it-
what's in it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell my old lady. I said, she's saying he has to have the shots, and they have to have the shots to get to school. He can't go to school. So I let him get them shots. But I said, that's his last shot. He's not getting any more shots.
Homeschooling, brother.
Yeah, well, I got a college degree. I could. I went to
Darn
Rutgers.
straight you could.
Yeah. See, I went into the military when I was 17, and I got out at 21, and I went to Rutgers because I went to school with Bon Jovi. I moved out of Hell's Kitchen at 13, and my father moved us to Sayreville, New Jersey.
Heavy.
So I went to school with Bon Jovi. He was a year behind me, and Sebastian Bach, the singer from Skid Row, he was my best friend. He's my son's godfather.
Ha! Heavy.
Yeah.
Right on. I like that guy. That guy is fucking cool.
Watch this.
Oh man, he said when I had my first surgery, he put me in a private room and paid for everything. It cost like $44,000.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Army Ranger, why don't you have Mr. Bach send you the money to save you and your family from your landlord, which is actually your mother-in-law? You're living at your wife's house, your wife's mom's house, and you're trying to get out of there on the people's dime. I mean, come on, bro. You were a fucking Army Ranger. You should have benefits up the ass. You should have a monthly paycheck that should be really good. And then, like you said, you grew up with these famous people that have helped you out before. Why don't you have them help you out now? And why are you trying to find help to get to David Tadashini's trailer park? Why don't you just have someone help you and just get you out of that house, and you can stay in the same area and not cause so much financial stress on people?
Now that's a godfather.
Yeah, and he told me, he said, I set aside money for your kid's college when I put enough in, so by the time your son's 18, the interest should be enough. He should be able to go to school if he chooses. And he said if he doesn't choose to go to college, you take the money and go to the casino.
God bless Mr. Bach, man.
Oh, he's a great guy, man. He's a good guy.
So I'll just say that I am recording. I just recorded
Okay.
that whole Sebastian Bach story. So for the listeners, for those of my listeners, I'd like to introduce Joe. I won't tell you his real name because for obvious reasons. But Joe, YouTube Joe. How's it going, Joe?
It's going great.
Cool.
Fucking idiots.
Joe, just to get to a bit of background here.
Oh, that destroyed Mr. Plymouth Fury's fucking whole LARP, didn't it? The whole money fucking LARP died right there. Let's see. Hopefully let's see, there's a little bit left, so hopefully I'll show you guys on the recording the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe's.
You are and what you do.
So my name is Joe. I went into the military at a very young age, right out of high school, and I joined the United States Army Rangers. I made it through Ranger School, 101st Airborne, and I stayed in for a little over 3 years. I got out, went to Rutgers, got my degree in liberal arts and history. I wanted to be a music teacher, believe it or not.
Wow.
But I tried that for a year and I couldn't handle it because if people don't have rhythm, you can't teach them nothing. So I got frustrated, and my only other option.
So if I can't teach people how to have rhythm, then I'm going to become a fucking Army Ranger. Okay, cool story, bro.
Music was to go back in the military, so I went back in for 19 more years. And I was in both Gulf Wars. I got 2 Bronze Stars, a Medal of Honor, and I got a Purple Heart.
Man, I'm pretty sure you get some benefits for all those Purple Hearts.
A bomb that went off that was strapped to somebody, and parts of it went into my belly. And they tried to get it out 3 times, and they couldn't because a lot of the shrapnel is too close to my spine, and they don't want to cripple me.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
I've had at least 17 surgeries in the last 16 years, 3 on each ankle, 3 on each knee. And now they're saying my hip is probably going to go because the bone's rubbing against the other hip bone. They don't care. They don't care. We caught a 17.
Have you had to shoot at anybody?
I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, no.
We had a 17-year-old, and we seen him. He was maybe an eighth of a mile in. So we told him, we pulled up to him, we said, listen, right now we're legally allowed.
Damn it. I think that was me.
Legally
that was
allowed
my
to
fault.
kill you. I said, do you see where you are? I said, there's pretty much a lot of bodies out there, not just.
Okay. I'm going to start this part over because I'm glad I put this in. This guy's about to talk about fucking killing a 17-year-old and leaving him out in the fucking desert. And then just watch how I caught on to the fucking numerology fucking... Cat, you might appreciate this. You're probably going to appreciate this. So watch this.
We had a 17-year-old, and we seen him. He was maybe an eighth of a mile in. So we told him, we pulled up to him, we said, listen, right now we're legally allowed to kill you. I said, do you see where you are? I said, there's pretty much a lot of bodies out there, not just from the military, the mob, they're dead out here too.
Oh, man.
I said, so if I was you, this is a warning. Turn around and go the way you came and get out of here. So 10 minutes later, the driver that I was with, I don't want to say his name, get him in trouble. He said, I got a bad feeling about that kid. He just looked at us like we were retarded. So we circled around and we went back, and yet there he is. Now he's even farther in.
Oh, my God.
So we had no choice but to do what we were told. And if you don't do it, you're told.
Then you're the one in the desert. You're in the...
Yeah, I mean, it happens to you. If they tell you to shoot somebody, if they don't listen, shoot them. You're free. We have it covered. There's signs saying you will be shot. You can't get in no trouble. So this 17-year-old wound up dying, and he's somewhere out there in the desert. And his parents... my mother-in-law's house, we got so many roaches that if you kill 10 more come out, 20 more come out. So,
did you notice that he said my mother-in-law's house? He said my mother-in-law's house. So it's not the landlord, right, David Tadashini? It's the mother-in-law's house, right? Which it happens to be the homeowner, right? All right. Because we know David Tadashini knows how to word things very well, okay? And he even tells this guy, hey, we're going to open up some fucking GoFundMes. Make sure you fucking emphasize about your child, not you.
I tried to get the township to help me get me housing. Nobody can help me. Nobody. And since I've been opening my mouth, I'm a disabled vet. I get a Social Security check every month. I was getting a substantial amount. And now for some reason I'm getting $604. So when I called Social Security, they could...
Well, many people might call me a conspiracy theorist, but 604 looks just like boy written out. Can somebody explain this to me?
Now for some reason I'm getting $604. So when I called Social Security, they couldn't explain to me why so much money was being taken out of my Social Security that they would look into it. Well, I never got an answer back, and I've called 4 times in the last 2 years since they cut it down. So they're trying to shut me up because they know I'm talking. My phone's tapped. When I talk to Stoney or Dave, I hear the clicking or humming or beeping.
Yeah, so I've been hearing a bit of stuff like that during our conversation, like little weird.
Paranoia will destroy you. Paranoia will destroy you. Paranoia will destroy you. And I got a lot, maybe too much for you.
So, I'm going to make a part 2 to this because I'm going to show you guys the 4 videos or the 4 audios of this guy, Army Ranger, talking about needing money to get out of there or to get his kid out of there. So again, I don't know if this guy Army Ranger knows the whole story about David Tadashini. I might just have to email him because he, his email's out there. So I think I'm going to email him because, like he said, ask Dave to give his side of the story. Well, that means that he hasn't heard this witness statement that he was talking about. You can't get around that, So, anyways, I'm going to shut it down because I got to work tomorrow. And, yeah, that's all I got for today. I thought all that numerology at the very end was very, very interesting. Let me go back to that really quick.
Now that's a Godfather.
Yeah, and he told me.
Right on. I like that guy. That guy is fucking cool.
Oh man, he said when I had my first surgery, he put me in a private room and paid for everything. It cost like $44,000 to get vaccinated. Why?
Because they know what's in it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to Rutgers because I went to school with Bon Jovi. I moved out of Hell's Kitchen at 13, and my father moved to Cesareeville, New Jersey.
Heavy.
So I went to school with Bon Jovi. He was a year behind me, and Sebastian Bach, the singer from Skid Row, he was my best friend. He's my son's godfather.
Ha! Heavy.
Yeah.
Right on. I like that guy. That guy is fucking cool.
Oh man, he said when I had my first surgery, he put me in a private room and paid for everything. It cost like $44,000.
Well, Mr. Army Ranger.
Here we go.
Now they're saying my hip is
Spinal.
I've had at least 17 surgeries in the last 16
Okay, so 17 surgeries. There's your Q right there.
years, 3 on each ankle, 3 on each knee.
And then he says 17 surgeries in 16 years. 17 minus 16 equals 1. Where we go 1, we go all. Okay. And then he says, had 3 ankle surgeries, 3 knee surgeries. There's 33. It's like, fuck. Take it easy,
And,
guy.
now they're saying my hip is out of the shrapnel. Is too close to my spine, and they don't want to cripple me.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or what
Well,
portion?
Spinal.
I've had at least 17 surgeries in the last 16 years, 3 on each ankle, 3 on each knee.
Oh, good.
And now they're saying my hip is probably going to go because the bone.
Yeah, and the 44 also is duality.
They don't care. They don't care. We quit a
Bat shit
17 year.
crazy.
So, yeah. I think I want to talk to Top Secret Army Ranger and see if he's in on this piece of shit fucking LARP or if he's been taken for a ride. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we always have. But at least we got it out there. Have a good night.